Hi everybody, Dan Oman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets.
Hey everyone, I'm David Aragona, and welcome to the 2022 TimeformUS Road to the Derby series. Remember last year I handicapped a lot of these Kentucky Derby preps leading up to the first Saturday in May, and we're going to do the same thing this year, talking about the major prep races at all of the circuits, New York, California, Arkansas, Fairgrounds, Gulfstream, and we're going to kick things off this week at the end of January with about 3 months until the Kentucky Derby with that Oaklawn, Arkansas Road to the Kentucky Derby, the first of their January preps. It is the Grade 3 Southwest on Saturday, January 29th, the 9th race on that Oaklawn Park card. Let's throw up the field for this race. It's a really competitive 12-horse affair. The morning line favorite is pegged as the California Shipper, the number 10 Newgrange, who comes into Arkansas for Bob Baffert, a trainer that many are afraid of when he does ship to Oaklawn. But we've got 7 horses out of this 12-horse field that are coming out of the local prep for this race. The Smarty Jones run much earlier this month on New Year's Day. So we'll see how those horses that are coming out of the Smarty Jones sort themselves out in this slightly longer and tougher Derby prep on Saturday. Let's throw up the TimeformUS pace projector for this race, because with a field this large, trips are going to be of utmost importance, and we have to see how these horses are going to sort themselves out towards the front end. And as you can see, TimeformUS is predicting a fast and competitive pace. The number 1, Ben Diesel, drew the outside post, and the Smarty Jones had to rush up to set the pace through some fast fractions that day. He's drawn on the rail this time, so he's probably going to get another aggressive ride, but he's got 2 speed horses drawn to his outside. The number 4, Kavod, the number 9, Classic Moment, could be forwardly placed, and that favorite, the number 10, Newgrange, he's gone gate to wire in his last couple starts, but he's predicted to be 4th early on in the pace projector. From the outside post position, his rider, John Velasquez, should have some options, but he's going to have to use his horse a little bit to ensure that he doesn't get parked out wide heading into that clubhouse turn. Let's move on to the replay of Newgrange's last race and talk about his chances as the morning line favorite in this Southwest. That's him coming into the stretch on the lead in the Grade 3 Sham earlier this month at Santa Anita. Really, he had everything his own way in this race. His main rival was a Bob Baffert stablemate, Rockefeller, who looked like the other speed on paper, but once Newgrange broke well and got the early lead heading into the clubhouse turn, that Bob Baffert stablemate really did not apply much pressure at any point during this race, and Newgrange just got to waltz along in the front end. You could see in the TimeformUS PPs, the early fractions all color-coded in blue for that race, indicating a slow pace. And furthermore, on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see that dark red color-coded race rating box, indicating that that day at Santa Anita was one that was really favoring horses that were racing on or near the lead, speed favoring track. And I think we've seen a lot of that recently at Santa Anita, especially in the dirt route. So I think all of that helped Newgrange earn that 108 TimeformUS speed figure. Based on speed figures, he's coming into this race with a pretty significant advantage over his rivals, but I feel like he's a little bit dressed up on form. Even his debut race, if you go through that field, look in the TimeformUS charts or in DRF Formulator and check out the subsequent races of horses coming out of that November Del Mar maiden race, a lot of those horses have regressed significantly in their subsequent starts. Newgrange is the only one that moved forward out of that race, and I question the quality of that last race in the Sham a little bit. So I'm viewing this horse with a healthy dose of skepticism. And furthermore, let's throw up this DRF Formulator fact for his trainer, Bob Baffert. I know Bob has this reputation of being so dangerous when he ships horses into Oaklawn Park, but over the past 5 years, that really hasn't been the story. He's won at a high percentage, but the ROI is pretty mediocre. And if you restrict it just to graded stakes races at Oaklawn over the past 5 years, he's just won 4 of them out of 15 starts. That's a 27% win rate, but the ROI is hovering just over $1. So you're really not making money betting these horses. And I feel like Newgrange is going to fit this stat because I do think he's going to be overbet in this race. Let's talk about some of the horses that are coming out of that local prep, the Smarty Jones. And let's begin with a replay of that race and talk a little bit about the winner, Dash Attack. This is a horse who drew the inside on this day, got a great ground-saving trip from his rider, David Cullen, peeled out at the top of the stretch, and he's going to shut the door on this field pretty decisively in the final 3/16 of a mile as he runs away to a pretty easy 2-length score over the sloppy track. Couple things to note about Dash Attack. He's encountered wet surfaces in both of his starts. He got a good sealed track in his debut and a sloppy sealed track last time. So he has to prove that he can handle fast going on Saturday at Oaklawn Park because there's really not much rain predicted in the Arkansas area this week. But I still like the way that he did it last time, winning that Smarty Jones over a lot of common rivals that he faces here. The early pace was pretty honest, but I thought that he moved into the race pretty fastly around the far turn. While others were coming under a ride, this horse was just tucking David Cohen up into a more forward position. And once David Cohen asked him to go at about the quarter pole, this horse showed a turf-like turn of foot to put himself into position to win the race. And I really like when horses are able to accelerate so quickly like that, especially in large fields such as this, because it shows that they're able to get themselves out of trouble. And in another 12-horse field, I think that that asset is really going to come into play and be an asset for him. So I like Dash Attack quite a bit. I know that he's coming off 2 perfect trips, but I just think that this horse still has upside and he really has the tools to be successful in this race. Another horse coming out of the Smarty Jones that should be discussed is the runner-up, Barber Road. He went off at 8-1 that day and was no match for Dash Attack, but I thought put in a game effort to be second. Coming around the far turn where his Dash Attack was traveling so sweetly and kindly under the hands of David Cohen, Rayla Gutierrez really had to start asking Barber Road from a long way out. And I thought it's a credit to this horse that he actually did respond coming through the stretch. It looked like maybe he was going to get nothing for a little bit, but he just kept grinding away and eventually got up to second. His form has been steadily improving. He did do okay sprinting 2 back at Churchill Downs when he just barely lost that stakes race with a career best 104 TimeformUS speed figure. Prior to that, he had been a winner going this mile and 16th distance, but did so against Maiden Claiming Company. So I feel like Barber Road still comes in with something to prove as he's stepping up into this graded stakes race for the first time. And also, I just think the winner, Dash Attack, being so lightly raced, probably has a bit more upside. The horse that I'd be most interested in, aside from Dash Attack, coming out of that Smarty Jones is the number 1, Ben Diesel. He also was pretty lightly raced, having made just 3 starts during his career. And after winning his maiden pretty nicely in his debut, going a mile and 16th, the same distance as today at Churchill Downs, they just threw him into a really tough spot for his second start in the Kentucky Jockey Club. Some people would consider the winner of that race, Smile Happy, to be among the leading contenders, if not the leading contender for the Kentucky Derby this early in the season. And Ben Diesel was really not disgraced, finishing 4th behind that foe back in November at Churchill Downs. And last time, like I was saying at the top of the show, he broke from post 13 in a 13-horse field, had to be really hard used by John Court in the early going of that race to make the lead. That was a fast pace, as you can see from that red-colored TimeformUS speed figure, and he paid the price late, fading through the stretch. But I think he could benefit from that start and do much better having drawn the rail this time, because he's going to not have to work so hard to make the front end in this Southwest. So I think he has to improve a little bit to beat Dash Attack, but I do believe he's likely to work out a better trip this time. Another horse that some might latch onto in this race that's relatively lightly raced is the number 6 Osborne. And let's take a look at his runner-up finish last time out in the Springboard Mile. That's him coming into the stretch in between horses, about to take the lead at the quarter pole of this race. He's ultimately, though, going to get run down by the horse just to his outside, Make It Big, a horse shipping up from Florida that was undefeated for Safi Joseph. Osborne fights on pretty gamely to the wire, but he ultimately just proves second best to that winner of the race. My problem with this horse is that while he's run well competitively in all 3 starts, the speed figures are just kind of modest. He hasn't broken into a triple-digit TimeformUS speed figure yet. That Springboard Mile, I know it's come up a pretty fun race in the past. I did not think that the 2021 edition of the Springboard was all that strong compared to some prior runnings. It didn't earn a particularly fast speed figure, so I'm going to view the horses coming out of that race with a little bit of skepticism. Osborne has decent form prior to that at Churchill Downs. He faced some good horses like Howling Time in his debut, but I just think he's got a really appealing set of past performances, might take some more money than that 8-1 morning line indicates. And I wanted to look elsewhere for some horses that might offer a bit more value. And one of those is the horse just drawn right to the inside of Osborne, the number 5 Costa Terra. This is a horse that was well meant when he won his debut at Ellis Park for Steve Asmussen, bet down to 9-5 that day. Only won by a nose, but I thought did a lot of good things in that race. Finished it off really strongly. They stepped him up into stakes company next time at Ellis, and Ricardo Santana came in to ride him that day, even though Ricardo was in the midst of a really strong Saratoga meet at that time. That's when Ricardo was riding really well in the summer, and he took a day off to ship over to Ellis Park to ride this horse. And I thought that Costa Terra did okay to just lose that race by half a length. length. He was a little green that day, trying to shift in the lane. You see that the TimeformUS PPs has that day color-coded as a speed-favoring track. So I thought that there were some things to like about Costa Terra coming out of those first two races, but he just got thrown into a tough spot last time in the Grade 1 Breeders' Futurity, was outrun right from the start, was always playing catch-up that day. Again, that was not the strongest edition of the Breeders' Futurity, but he did improve his TimeformUS speed figure up to a 94 in October of his two-year-old season. So that puts him a little bit off the top contenders in this race, but I do think he has upside coming back off the layoff here. And Steve Asmussen has a couple of runners in this race. This is the one that I think is most interesting, though. He's listed at 12-1 on the morning line. I just think this is a horse that we haven't yet seen the best of. He has upside, got a pedigree to be a good one by Gun Runner out of a Tappet sire dam who has produced Pneumatic, a stakes winner for these connections. The dam herself is a half to Pyro, who had a lot of success on the Derby Trail a number of years ago. So I just think there is upside for Costa Terra, and he's a horse that should be a decent price in this race. So let's throw my picks for this race, and I do have Costa Terra in there. He's my second pick as just a value horse that I want to get somewhere in the exotics, but the one that I put on top is that Smarty Jones winner, the number 2 Dash Attack. Like I was saying, he's a horse that's gotten good trips in both races. I just really like the way that he's won both of his starts. He's got another inside drawn post position. I think he's likely to work out another good trip given the pace situation in this Southwest. And I just think he's a horse that is going to continue improving for trader Ken McPeak, taking a bit of a stand against that morning line favorite, the number 10 Newgrange. Just really skeptical of this horse's California form and want to see him deliver at Oaklawn Park. Not the kind of horse that I would want to support at a short price. So that's a look at the Southwest on Saturday at Oaklawn Park. Good luck if you're playing this weekend.